it started about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. We've met, and we've kind of put a plan together. Now we've been 3 weeks into it, and so now we're trying to see
where we're at.
Yeah, if we made any progression. So we're basically going to go. You filled this out the first time before we even met, or before the first time we met. We're going to fill it out again to see if there's any progress in your opinion.
I feel like there has. It's not, it's not 100%, but there have been some improvements from where we were before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, well, let's fill this out first of all, and then I have some comments about the class today. I thought there were some good things about it I really liked. So let's do this here. All right. So going back through this, I'm not sure if you remember that. This one's yours right here. So the idea is kind of to judge how you think different parts of your class are. First one is, how do you want your students to act? How do you want students in class to be when they first walk into the room? And so we kind of talked about what you wanted with that a little bit, and then you kind of rated yourself on that one. And once again, the score range is 0 being extremely unhappy to 5 being super happy. So how do you feel when students come into your class? What would you rate yourself on that one?
I don't think that's changed that much. I mean, but I've taken some things out where I don't give them the 2-minute warning anymore, because I figured by the second semester it's the same routine and they know what to do. So when they come in, they see the warm-up. So, and I'm reminding them as they come into the door, hey, just take your warm-ups out, get ready. It's, it's so routine that I shouldn't have to say, oh, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to get ready.
Exactly.
We don't have 2 minutes.
They should know. They know. Yeah.
Get it ready. Yeah. So it's not where I want it to be, but with some of these kids, I don't think it'll ever be 100%. They just, lacking some common sense. But for the ones that are here to learn, yes, it's.
So overall, give yourself. Now, once again, this overall, how you're feeling is about that, like what your idea would be and where you're at. What would you rate yourself?
I would give it probably 3.5, 4.
Okay.
At least a 4.
Let's go 4 it is then. All right. Now, how do you want your students to be the first 5 minutes of class?
I want them to get settled. I want them to have all their stuff put away, more than anything. We're still working on that. Kids are very clingy to their stuff. Some of them.
Yeah.
The ones that are, they follow the rules, I have no problem, but there's a handful that they're very clingy to their personal items. And I don't know if I'm legally or whatever you want to call it, confident enough to start taking things away from kids. So that's the one thing that I'm hesitant about.
Okay.
Like total enforcement
of that one.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I don't know if I have enough. Nobody's ever explained to me, hey, the union would come in here and explain, hey, you're totally covered.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Do what you need to do. So I'm in that
gray zone.
That gray zone as far as the backpacks and the
stuff of that. Okay.
The purses and all that.
So then, as far as what you like your students to be doing the first 5 minutes of class, how do you feel about that one? Give yourself.
Yeah, I'd give it another 4.
4 on that one. So not where you want to be yet, but
not because it's not 100%. It's never going to be 100%. There's always going to be 1 or 2 stragglers or.
Yep. All right. While working independently. While working on independent work, are you okay if they talk with each other a little bit?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah?
Like they did that today when I got the worksheet.
And so how happy are you with that?
5. Yeah.
5 it is, okay. How do you feel about group work and what are expectations? Students are in groups. How do you feel about when students are in group work?
Well, the expectation is that they're working together, not just like one person at the table is doing all the work and everyone's copying. That's what I don't want to see.
Exactly.
Right. So if I see them all on the same problem together, like when I'm walking around, that's what I'm looking for.
Excellent.
Rather than, I don't want to see this,
Yeah, you actually want to kind of see them.
So even from far away, you can kind of glance and see if they're working together or if they're just copying from each other. So
what do you think for that one then? What would you rate yourself?
For these kids, there are a few that do need help. And if I'm not there, then they'll look for the leaders at the table to help them. But 4.
Okay. How off task can students be before you get concerned or feel you should step in? So
not as much as before. I try to catch what I can. Of course, at the end of the day, I'm like running out of gas. So a few other things will slip through my fingers, but I mean, it's been a day.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
It is exhausting. Catch me earlier in the day, I don't let anything slip by. So, am I satisfied with that? How often can students be? How off task can be before you get concerned?
So you feel for the most part?
I would give myself another 4.
Okay.
Only that it does kind of slip towards the end of the day.
Okay. Are you okay if students sleep in class? I know we discussed that one before.
There are some kids I wish they would sleep in class. I only have one sleeper from period 1, and that situation is being monitored.
They know about it.
Yeah, it's. I just report what I see.
Yeah, that's what you can do. That's it.
Yeah, 5.
Okay.
Don't bother me.
How are the transition in your class when you go from one activity to another?
It can be pretty rough, and so as long as they have the same routines, like they're used to doing I'll show them a video clip or show them a phenomena, and I'll ask them questions about that, and then they'll go back to the notes and stuff like that. It's not where I want it to be, but I mean that would be like if we do exactly the same thing year after year. So I'll change it up a little bit every once in a while. So that can be a little bit rough for them. 3.5, 4.
Okay, go to 4 on that one.
Yeah.
How much disrespect are you willing to tolerate?
Some of these kids, they're just, I don't know, you can't change them. They just have that built into them. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that, it's makes it negative in here.
Yes.
I don't like it. I don't tolerate it. That's what I have one of the categories up here, profanity.
Yeah.
I have the same problem in period 4. I've got a couple of girls, and period 5, I have one boy that does it a lot, and their name goes right up on the board every time it happens. So 4 again.
Okay. How much defiance before you feel you have to draw the line?
Not as much as I was. They're named anything defiant. You're refusing to sit where you want. Today I was a little bit lax, but I didn't care. But early in the day, I do fight with them. I said, look, this is your seat, go there. If they want to move later when we do group work, that's fine. But for the majority of the period, I like them to sit in their assigned seats and give another 4. And that's kind of straightened a lot of the problems that I was having before. There was too many groups that were like entrenched and
click, going on,
break up the cliques, and then it's a little bit more manageable situation.
Let's see, how strict will you be with electronic devices in your class?
3, period 3, no fuss, I'll take them all. Period 4, no fuss, I'll take them all. Period 5, sometimes there could be a little bit of fuss with some of the kids. And I try to use some kind of leverage like sports, like do you want me to talk to your coach?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that works. And then this period, so until we get a situation like LAUSD where they just leave them in the front office.
Yes.
I think we're all going to have trouble.
We are.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like that one thing I saw. I forget the name of it, but it's a little pouch you put stuff in.
Yeah.
So I love that. But anyways,
I thought about getting one of those. They have them on Amazon, and last year I was talking with Mr. Johnson about, because I think she has one, Sanchez, or one of them has one in her room.
Oh, like on the door or something?
Yeah. They just leave it in there and, seal it up. I've even tried like, hey, you want extra credit, leave your phone in here.
Yeah.
It works sometimes. Some of them are just so addicted that, they don't even care about the extra credit. They just,
rather fun.
Yeah.
So what do you see here? So what would you
battle? I take them away. I have that thing. I had that made from last year, so
I do like that thing. That's nice.
4 again.
I like how
I
that
mean,
thing is you just hand it out, they put it in there versus you actually have to physically grab
Yeah.
it. There's something about that.
Right.
I like the way it looks.
I don't have to touch it, just leave it in the basket.
Like that.
And it's not like out of view, so they know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
It's just in the back of the room.
All right. Students listen to music or watch videos while working independently. I think before you said you're okay with that, right?
Yeah, I'm okay. And once again, I put on music to try and either
Yeah.
put them to sleep, purposely, or to get away their negative vibes, or calm them down.
Yeah.
So for period 1, it's really putting them to sleep. But the rest of the periods for the afternoon, especially, they need something to
Calm down.
bring them like a couple levels down. They're okay with that. 5.
5 it is.
I don't protest.
So when you're instructing, how quiet do you expect your students to be?
I expect to be completely quiet, everyone to pay attention too, and not be fiddling with all the stuff around them.
Yeah.
There's still too many distractions around. And that's a seating thing too. So I'd put a 3 there. That's a low score.
Do you want to make your classroom very active, or do you prefer students remaining in their seats?
Active when we're doing labs, but since we're not doing a lab, if it's a normal class, I want them to stay in their seats.
Okay.
And there's still too much bathroom stuff, and there's still, water, bathroom, nurse, main office, counselor, this and that. It's
a lot.
yeah. I feel like, and the kids are antsy because they've been sitting all day. So what you saw was the end of the day, where we're all probably in the same boat here, where the kids are ready to go.
Yeah.
After lunch, they've eaten, they're ready to go home. But now they got another hour to kill. So we're
feeling the effects of it.
We're trying to fill that hour with with what we can. So yeah. Anyways, to answer the question, do you want to make your classroom very active? I'd give it another 4.
4 it is.
Are you okay if students move around without permission? No, I'm not. I try to call them out as much as I can.
All right. So what'd you give yourself with that one? How do you think they're doing as far as moving around?
I do a 5. I catch them as soon as they're up.
Got it.
But a lot of them are just getting up, like they'll go wash their hands and all like that. I told them not to do that. They'll get up and they'll play with the door. I told them not to do that, but they're going to do it anyway. So I need to find another leverage over that to keep them seated.
Okay. Now this is back to the profanity part. So the previous one is the defiance, but the profanity overall, how do you feel about that one, and what do you think it's at?
I don't profane anything. The names go right up on the board there. And if it's something extreme, like what another student did the other day, it's in Aries already. So that I keep track of.
All right. So you're good. What's your opinion about eating or drinking in the classroom?
That's gone down a lot since the beginning of the year, and the room stayed a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
Not 100%. You got candy wrappers here and there, but I was giving out candy today, so I would still give it a 4.
Okay.
I still have a few kids coming in during nutrition, like they're having no time to finish, so there's an apple over there that I swept up.
At least it's healthy. There we go. So how much harassment or a student by another student is acceptable? So them teasing each other and harassing each other.
Harassment or students by another student. Well, I don't tolerate any, and no teacher should tolerate any of that. I don't really see it much. I mean, I've had kids argue with each other, but had one fight with 2 kids over a bag of chips, which they shouldn't have been eating in here anyway. So, no tolerates. 5.
All right, it's going pretty good for you on that one then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. What else we got? What is your expectation when it comes to fire drills or any other safety drills? We've been having a lot of those lately.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of those. The expectation is everyone to stick together, which is kind of hard to do.
It is hard to do.
Once you get away from the building, they're all over the place.
Yes.
Finally, we meet up in the right place once they check in with all of their friends. So, yeah, that's never been much of a problem. Only that we don't walk all the way there in a single line, which I don't know if any other class can do that, but I give it at least a 4.
Okay. What are your expectations of your students when there is a substitute?
Same as when I'm in here. I don't want any outside kids in here. I want them to treat the sub with respect, do the work I give them. Don't abuse the restroom policy. So, yeah, expectation 5.
All right. And so far, it's going pretty good?
I've had one bad review. It might have been just that sub, but all of them have been
That's really good,
good.
yeah.
And it was early on when I got the negative one.
Got it.
And I know it was period 5, then there was a lot of bad kids in there.
And it's the last one. How are your students when it comes time to packing up and leaving the class?
They're a lot better than I am of keeping track of time. I do lose track of time even after this many years.
Yeah.
But they kind of give me the signal when they're done. Actually, it's the other way around. I'm like, I'll say, hey, I'm done. That's it for today. Then they know. Then they'll just get up and go grab their backpack and pack up. I just remind them, don't leave any trash. Put your chairs in. We're still having some, especially at the end of the 6th period, they're hanging out by the door, which I don't like. So gonna keep working on that. But for the other periods, it's not as bad as that.
Yeah.
These kids are they're ready
Answer to go, yeah.
They're ready to go. Right?
Yeah.
They're already, So the rest of them, it's been a lot better than it was. I think they're growing. They're getting a little more mature.
You think so?
They're calming down a little bit.
I don't know.
They were younger last semester.
I don't know,
right?
3 weeks makes that big of a difference.
Well, they're getting, you see this over the course of a year. They're still a little more mature. They're calming down, not, unless there's something like really exciting going on out there, that riles them up. But you see this, I do see this over time.
Yeah.
And every year that I've taught. I would give it. I'd give it. It could use some work. I'd give it a 3, but that's
3.
That's being a little bit hard on myself. But.
Growing up. Here we go. Let's count them up here. So, let's do this. You do your math. I'll do my math, and see if we come up with the same number here.
85.
85. Now,
is that better? Or
I only know
the same range.
Well, I only know this because I've been editing the previous ones. Your goal was 85. Originally, the first score you rated yourself 60, and now this one you rated yourself 85.
So yeah,
yeah. And I remember you saying my goal is 85. I go, sure, you go at 85. I go, 85. So all right, let's give it a shot.
At least at 85. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see where there's still room for improvement in a lot of areas, but. The first semester was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say that it's everybody, but it's not being able to manage a handful of kids that kind of spills over into everyone else.
Yeah.
Situation. And with the right kind of tools to get them, to calm down and focus, then everyone else just like falls in line.
Yeah.
I feel like another thing, last year I had aides in at least 3 different periods.
Okay.
This year I've got like 1.
But it's better this period. Better this.
No, the kids I got way more special need kids.
Are you talking about last year or last semester?
Yeah, last from 23-24.
Okay, so last year, I got
Yeah.
you. Okay, last year, okay.
This year, I only have 1 aide that comes in during first period.
Mm-hmm.
That's helpful. But if I had more adults with me, especially 6th period would be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
5th could be helpful, or actually either 5th or 4th would be helpful, because there's problems in both of those periods, and it's big groups.
Yeah.
Imagine what you saw, but like. Every chair.
Every table filled out.
And just me.
Yeah.
So,
So here's the question. I remember I asked my kids.
For one adult versus,
32,
35 kids.
Mm-hmm. It's tough.
Yeah.
I ask my kids this question sometimes. I go, tell me about their day. So one good thing, one bad thing, one thing you do differently about your day. It's kind of like to make it quick with my kids, at home. So question for you. what's one thing that improved? What's one thing that kind of has gone worse? And what's one thing you would do differently next year? Let's try that one. So what's one thing you improved just from the time we've been meeting? What's one thing you're really happy with the improvement on? As far as what you're doing.
Keeping track of this and having a category for the problems, and because there was a time when I was inputting a lot of stuff in the Aries, and it's like I didn't feel like anything was happening. Like kid would violate something, I'd write it up, they'd do it again, then they do it again, then they do it. There was no next step from that. Now at least there's a process of a next step. Okay, do it 3 times, do a referral, which I need to talk to you about one kid.
Sure.
And then so that's kind of helpful.
What's not working?
What's not working is the kids that are the most extreme have, their needs, I don't know, there is no next step for them. Because nothing really deters them from, when they're in the mood to misbehave, they're just going to misbehave.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
And I've had a situation where I tried to take them out and then they just come right back.
Yeah.
So that makes me look like
even not that period, but even just most times that same period.
Yeah.
And then what's one thing you do differently next year?
I would have been more strict with the seating charts if I could have started this year over again.
Yeah.
And just, they start out okay, but like after the first month or 2, that's when, the changes need to be made for the seats, because that's when the groups start to click together.
Yeah.
And I would say from the end of September, October, and November, it got to a point where it was too hard to move kids around. They're going to sit where they want to sit.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that
system
in place. So like, okay, if you're not going to sit here, you're going to go away.
Yeah.
It was like,
what do I do?
It was like 30 against 1.
Yeah.
What? That's one thing. That's one of the biggest things I would change. Yeah. And just the other thing is just like just don't tolerate anything.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, we're going to do this, and don't let them sit here and just do nothing. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
The more they sit here and do nothing, the more they're more likely to get involved in bad stuff.
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we got plenty of devil hands here.
I just want to tell you a couple positive things. When I was watching the class, I'm not sure if you're. I think you do a pretty good job, at least from every time I've been here, designing a lesson. It seems to go, and like I said, I remember the last time I was here, you came up with something on the spot, which is quite impressive. And this time, I just kept track of all the different things you did, because they always talk about chunking, right? Chunking, and you mentioned this, but like that's something different this year. I think you're chunking, and I'm not sure intentionally or not intentionally, you're chunking it. Like they came in, they did the warm-ups, and then you showed them the video of the cheetah,
right,
and that one, and then you took a little bit of notes. Then you showed them the video of the brain pop, and then you stamped the homework while they're doing the worksheet. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things you did in a period. When they talk about chunking, that's exactly what they're talking about. So you seem to be pretty good at that one.
The timing.
Yeah, the timing, the lesson plans overall seem pretty good. I didn't really see too much where you're like, I don't know what to do next. Seemed like you always had something. So that was really a good thing. So.
Well, man, if it wasn't for the movie stuff from last week, they would have gotten their homework stamped on Friday. So that kind of spilled into this week. So
that's what I realized, because like I always do my lesson planning like 3 weeks in advance. So I know I do 3 weeks units, and I know what I'm be doing. But as teachers, we gotta have the flexibility. There's that fire alarm. We gotta do that one.
Exactly.
Right. We got email last week saying, "Oh yeah, we can have a speaker come. They're gonna speak in your class." Well, there goes a whole, So we're always constantly adjusting.
Right.
But that's part of the tricks of the trade there.
The brain pop thing, I would have had them just grab Chromebooks and do that on their own. But since I knew that we had a lot of stuff to do, I said, we'll just do it together, and
makes sense.
I just give them candies as a reward to answer the right questions.
I love how you use mints.
Get them to focus.
They love those mints.
Oh, they love them. They love the mints, man.
Any question before I wrap this one up, and then we can talk more afterwards. But any final things you want to put on camera here?
I mean, I'm satisfied with the results. I mean, yeah, just keep working. Another, you said it would take 3 weeks to get from the maximum crazy to a manageable crazy. So, and then just iron out a few
Maintain it.
odd ends, and yeah,
Nice.
could be a sweet job.